Hi everyone, it's Rebecca again, and I am back for part two of the numerology series. So, in part one, I went through to go through the numbers one, two, three, four, and five. And I am now going to be going through the numbers six, seven, eight, and nine. In that time, I've had a bit of a mini break, and I have grabbed myself a shawl or a little what do you call them? What do you call these things? I can't for the life of me think of it. A scarf. So I've grabbed myself a scarf, and because it's gotten later into the evening, I also figured it would be better to be wearing my glasses about now. Um, it actually is better to wear them all the time, but sometimes I just like get on and do stuff without them. So, all right, let's go to number six. Let's talk about number six first. So, the number six is about development. It's about really getting to know on a deeper level all of the information that we've probably had over our lifetime. It's about wisdom. It's about, kind of like knowing that accumulative knowledge. So it's about also, how can I say this? Like, awareness of the ancestry of our lives. It's that same accumulation that comes with growth. So it's a beautiful growth number. It's also a really beautiful, nurturing family, duty of care and responsible kind of number. That's the upside, as you know from the previous series. I was sharing about the positive or negative, or as you know, because negatives aren't such a bad thing. Sometimes it's just the way life is. There's a balancing of scales. So, you know, we've got the things that uplift us and the things that kind of make us feel a bit more down. So to try and bring that up and balance it out a little bit is actually where I guess the mastery is. And, you know, to fall into things like the opposite in six is still like, you know, I guess if you're expansion and you're in growth, then the opposite of growth and expansion is, you know, really just like um a compaction down of maybe things being controlled, or you know, some of the, you know, things that we could probably ease up on are things like perfectionism, imbalanced kind of connections with others. You know, it's all about that whole struggle with where people lay with being dominant or submissive. So, you know, there's a lot of things about that which can also go into the feminine and masculine as well. A lot of the time, number six is relative to things like being of service to others, self-love, self-worth, self-value. And also it's got a relationship with particular career types, which are the things like astrologers and numerologists. So numerologists would probably like this number, I'm guessing, interestingly. And then, you know, there's utopian thinking, which, you know, depends on where you are on that scale. Utopian thinking can be otherwise known as being, you know, positive, or it could be known to be, you know, a thought leader. Utopian thinking can also be on the weight of the scales, on the things that's maybe unbalanced of thinking things are going to be amazing when they're actually not. It's like, you know, really kind of I guess grandiering things, almost a little bit like thinking like things are going. It's opposite almost to dystopian thinking. So a lot of people are like, thinking the world's going to be all this doom and gloom. Was opposite of that. So it's actually the world's going to be enlightened and airy fairy and light and all of those things. So, where do we balance up that level of thinking as well? So I've actually picked out 3 oils for the number 6 to go hand in hand with those kind of that general awareness of what number 6 can be representing. And so the first one is, because we were talking about things like growth and development and really just like taking what we know and taking it into a more detailed knowledge of what it is. I actually felt that the highest potential oil was a really beautiful oil to represent that. And I think it's a light floral tone. Let me just grab my product guide here. So highest potential is, here we go. Keep clicking past that page, which says highest potential harnesses the uplifting and inspiring power of blue cypress and other pure essential oils to help you reach beyond limitations and overcome barriers. So it's got some, like, quite a lot of essential oils in there, quite sacred oils as well. And I don't think that description actually did it very much justice. I think it's just, they talked about blue cypress. Blue cypress is a very beautiful, very spiritual oil as well. So it doesn't really recognize the highest potential, but I think it's very uplifting, which is what it did say. The second oil that I really thought was really beautiful for the number 6 is the oil Believe. And the reason I thought that was one to, I love this. This is such a clear oil. It's such a clarity of oil. Let me tell you what's in Believe. Oh my goodness, that was really, I love it. The reason I've chosen Believe is more about I guess that whole self-love, self-worth, self-value, the beauty. It's like, just, it's almost like surrender, but not really. It's like the knowledge that we've actually already accumulated is enough. And the Believe oil is about, I guess, believing in self. So this Believe oil can actually represent so many things under the banner of Believe. Belief could even lead to believe in your dreams. But I actually think it comes back to believing in self. And I think that's a good representation of the number 6. So let me read to you about Believe. Believe says, Believe contains Idaho blue spruce, Idaho balsam fir, frankincense, and other essential oils that may encourage feelings of strength, self-confidence, and faith. That's another thing, I guess. And that kind of also comes out of believing in the good, which is almost like utopian thinking, I guess. So the oil that comes to mind, which is what it's got in it, is blue spruce, balsam fir, frankincense, coriander, bergamot, ylang ylang, and geranium. Coriander is a clarity that comes in that oil that I can really smell coming through in that oil, and it's absolutely beautiful combination. It's like just divine. Okay, so the next oil, which I love for the likes of almost protection and overcoming the things like comparison and guilt and controlling and coming outside of those kind of feelings and that whole relationship issues with others, whether it's going to be choosing between dominance or being submissive. Like, I mean, sure, there is a place for all of that, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't exist. And and yet I feel like we have all of that within us also. Like, we have the dominance and the submissive side of us internally. It's within us. And so, just to, help with like that growth that I was talking about, I really, really feel like this is more like a spiritual growth kind of thing. This is like an awareness of like beyond just us being in this flesh, in this body. So this oil is white angelica, and this is a really beautiful oil which we use all the time. It's a very soft oil, which we use all the time in creating like a final layer over us. Like, you can use it in your aura. I've just have a little tickle in my nose there. Maybe. So just one drop will do, and just like activating it in your hands and then inhaling it. Oh, so precious. I love this oil. Like, you can inhale it just like that. You can put it in the diffuser. You can use it in massages. But what we use this for is actually using it over our auras. So like, this is for the ethereal body. This is for the body to be able to massage and clear the energy and use it even as a protection. So if you're doing like energy practices, like for example, I love Donna Eden's techniques, energy techniques, and she's got this really beautiful one, which is a zip up technique, which goes from the pelvis all the way up past the belly button, all the way up the central meridian, basically. And so like, I use it to do that technique with. I think it's just like this like final like little field setting that we can use to be very conscious of our own energy, and almost like even in the actual action of doing that, it helps us overcome things because we feel protected. So things like that whole self-worth, like I am worthy, without having to go into things like perfectionism. I am how I come, the best that I am, and it's a form of like deep acceptance almost. So I love white angelica. White angelica is probably one of my top favorite oils in Young Living, and it is a beautiful blend of, let me get it up, sweet almond oil, bergamot, melissa, geranium, lang lang, rose, myrrh, northern lights, black spruce, sacred sandalwood, and hyssop. I love hyssop. It's a very sacred ancient scriptures type oil. It says here, containing pure melissa and bergamot essential oils, white angelica promotes the feelings of protection and security when diffused, and can be used to guard against negative energy. There you go. It just sums up everything I said. So it's actually one of those ones where I feel like all of the things that we feel like guilt, comparison, control, perfectionism, all those imbalances, I feel like it just like helps us feel secure to just be. So that's why I've included that in the number 6. I don't know what I was going to do that for. 6. But I've put 3 oils in there. In fact, I was actually going to review the previous oils, but I think I've gone on to just move straight into it. So let's just keep going. If you want to review the previous videos, go back and check out the other videos and the other video part 1, and you can rewatch that again if you would like. So number 7, let's go to number 7. So the number 7 has got encompassed in the number things like education and intelligence, and whether that be on the scale of really like intelligent or not really intelligent. It's on that scale of of where you are on that educational awareness. Can be the people that are really kind of like into specific genres, like things like mysteries and any kind of things that need to be, looked into, like a detective. It's one of those numbers that would have the profession of things like a professor, a specialist, an expert, a techie, or a psychotherapist. It also encompasses in people that are loners, monks, mystics, psychics, occultists, and people who just have an awareness of spirituality, intuition. And also, it includes, along with all of the mystery things, the secrets and other dimensions. The mysteries of life is quite all, like there's a lot within that. Obviously, the mysteries of life, there always comes some skeptics, and there's other things in there as well when we're talking about, I guess, those mysteries of life, mystic type people. It also comes to bring us to learning about ourselves, because when you think about people who are like the professors or the loners or the techies or the monks, they kind of are going into things in their heart in a deep way. So it is quite even an academic, a level of intelligence. Those kind of people go into nitty gritties. They don't just stay on the surface. They want to dive. They want to take all their information and learn more, and really just and sometimes they just have this knowingness about them. They just know, but really it's about their practice at the end of the day. Like, you have to think about like somebody who's an expert. They've probably tinkered and tinkered and tinkered, and they've learned and learned and learned until they've actually got to the place where they have become an expert in their field, right? So same as like even a monk. A monk would probably start off potentially as a young child, and being identified as somebody who would like to probably spend time to connect with, whatever it is that monk would believe in. And I'm guessing that's some level of universal source / Buddhism / what else is there in those spiritual places that monks go? I guess just God, really, however you want to define God, the oneness of life, all of those things. So monks would spend so much time doing the littlest things, but being so present to them as well. So they're really in that depth, which is really connected right into intimacy with life, intimacy with self, intimacy with others, which, yeah, it just takes you to an edge. On the other side of that is number 7, on the downside. So all of these other things are perceived. They're all perceived. The feeling of abandonment is not something that's light, is it? It's heavy. So it's down, it's not up. Betrayal, trust, suspicion, paranoia, asking why, rejection, being melodramatic. So it's all about the depth. And so those are quite deep emotions as well: betrayal, trust, abandonment, rejection. They're quite big emotions. So they're all relative to the number 7. And so the oils that I've chosen 3 oils to be relative to this particular number 7. The first one is surrender. I think when it comes to the mysteries and things like people who are monks or psychics or spiritual people, there's a level of letting go that's kind of required to actually believe in whatever that is that they believe in. if you're surrendering, you're almost channeling as well. For example, like if you're into, a good mystery kind of story, those things unravel in a way that I feel is probably innate. It's probably something within. And things like, okay, what else? Just like intimacy in general. Sometimes you just have to let go and let God. So surrender is not one of my favorite smells, and generally speaking, that's a good indicator that I could probably do with a little bit more surrender in my life as well. Let me read it. It is better than in the past. When I have smelled surrender before, I've been like really like turned off. I can actually at least take a deep inhalation of it. It's better with other blends for me. Still, I can blend it with other blends. Um, so surrender is a blend of lavender, black spruce, Roman chamomile, and other essential oils that provide aromas to help cast off inhibitions that may be controlling your life or limiting your potential. I love that. The word casting off inhibitions. Like when you're actually like being in your expertise and your intelligence, I actually think you almost do lose your inhibitions. You literally just are in flow. People that are in academia world, when they're writing a lot, like when they're actually really experty, like they get into the state of flow so they can actually just like get what they need to say out. And that is like, yeah, that's another way of being. So yeah, surrender. What else has it got in there? I think it's actually maybe the Roman chamomile and German chamomile that I'm not really a big fan of. I like it, but only in small doses. But this is quite a lot in this one, and they're actually expensive oils too, the chamomiles. So I think surrender is actually probably one of the more up there priced oils for a 5 ml. Ooh, it's not my favorite oil, that's for sure. But yeah, it's actually just like such a good one to use anyway. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, like, I can't get out there, I can't have that edge, like take yourself to that place of surrender, to let go, to be able to go there, to open up the heart, right? That's that part of intimacy. And I know that the reason that on the other side of that is actually a level of fear and rejection. And this is because of things like abandonment, betrayal, trust, suspicion, all of those kind of things. So surrendering is to just allow, to let go. And I think that that is so appropriate for the number 7. The other oil, which I love for number 7, is a straight single oil called frankincense. And there's no other way to explain frankincense other than it is frankincense. Frankincense is such a refined, very spiritual, sacred oil. I mean, unless you've experienced frankincense, it's very difficult to actually just explain to you. It doesn't even smell woodsy. It doesn't even smell like sap, but that's what it is. It's from the tree of the let me just quickly get it up on the page. Frankincense. It's from the Boswellia carteri. And there is actually frankincense and sacred frankincense. So one of them is Boswellia sacredi, I think, or something. Anyhow, let me read to you. Diffuse frankincense essential oil during meditation to help with grounding and purpose. Also add it to your personal care products to promote a beautiful complexion and to help combat dry skin. So, like, I guess for me, why I chose frankincense was because of that part of the spiritual, and also, intelligent academia type people and even people with learning difficulties, you know, it can just help raise that efficiency in one's own self to, keep getting that insight. I think that's why they probably all are encompassed in the number 7, because they're quite insightful people, number 7 people. Okay, and the third oil that I've chosen for number 7 also is transformation. Because let's face it, if you can get from feeling that feeling of all of those emotions of abandonment, betrayal, trust, asking for wild time, rejection, all of those melodramatics, like, you know, you can get to that depth of experience and overcome that, and or even like move through the deep stuff. You can move through that, or if you can actually like crack your heart open to have that deep intimacy in life with yourself and others, you know, I feel like that makes you an expert. I think that makes you like a professor on life. I feel like that makes you like one of the one that knows, which is a mystic, you know. And so for that oil, I've actually chosen transformation. Transformation is an amazing blend. I actually think that this blend is one of those ones also I would use for somebody who is crossing over, is on the end of their life. I think transformation is a really good one to help one go crossover easier, potentially. Not saying for sure. I have no real actual, it's just my intuition says. So there's no proof, there's no evidence. So that I'm aware of anyway. So transformation containing powerful essential oils such as Idaho blue spruce, Palo Santo, and Ocotea. Transformation empowers you to transform a negative mindset into an uplifting, positive attitude. So it has in it lemon, sacred frankincense, sandalwood, peppermint, cardamom, clary sage, Idaho blue spruce, Palo Santo, and Ocotea. I actually think I can smell the Palo Santo. I love Palo Santo. If you have never smelled a Palo Santo stick burn before, wow, you're missing out because it's such a beautiful aroma. Let me just have another. Looks like I can smell something like peppermint. Did I say peppermint? I'm pretty sure. We'll get back to that transformation page. Yeah, it does have peppermint and sandalwood. I can smell that too. It's got that very woodsy, sappy, also mentholy kind of aroma. It's actually such a brilliant aroma. I love it. Love it. It's beautiful. Number 7. That's number 7, guys. So now we're up to number 8, numerology. How much fun is this? I'm enjoying this process. I might take it deeper later. Right now, we're not on number 7. We're doing surface stuff. So not really. I am giving you guys a lot of information right now, but it's just not. I think if I did it each individual, I could actually talk about it a bit more. But I think I'm giving a lot right now, actually. So it's not really on the surface. I guess the information about the oils is on the surface. About the numbers, I'm going into good depth, aren't I? So here we go. Number 8. Let's talk about number 8. All right. So number 8 is all about, I mean, in my overview, it's about abundance. It's about professionalism. It's about achievement, authority. It's about visionary leadership. It's about being the boss, the CEO. It's about affluence and also poverty on that scale weighing up. It's about skill. It's about how influential we are. It's about community and recognition within the community. It's about status, reputation, integrity, and money. Like, it's a big picture kind of one, but also for the people in spiritual realms, dream walkers, astral travelers, also people who are just a good judge of character. Also, you know, most numbers do incorporate some level around sexuality, but number 8 kind of really does go deep into sexuality, into sex addicts, prostitution, sex therapy, celibacy on the other side of that, and just a journey with your own sexuality or learning about sexuality. So, you know, there's a lot in the number 8 about power and abundance, and also on the opposite side, like, you know, which is not having that. So let's talk about the oils that I chose, which number 1 is obviously going to be the oil abundance. Abundance is I can't help but say this for all oils, but this actually has one of those child locks on it because, and I feel like a child right now because I can't even open it. Oh my goodness, open. It's not going to open. Can you believe that? I can't get it to open. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that open. Anyway, let me tell you. Oh, you have to push down hard on some of these medical ones. Oh, I think I've scratched myself on my arm. I've made an itchy bite. Bleed a little bit, excuse me. Oh, I've just noticed that now. So you may have noticed it. I just wanted to point out what it is so you're not thinking, what the hell is that? Just in case you're not listening and you're observing rather than, by osmosis even. Okay, so let's go to abundance because I can't open it, but it's a very cinnamony aroma. And let me read to you. Abundance combines essential oils such as orange and ginger, which were used by ancient cultures to attract prosperity and love, as well as to magnify joy and peace. And the ingredients are orange, clove, cinnamon bark, frankincense, ginger, black spruce, patchouli, and myrrh. Oh my word. This oil is one of the first oils. When I started ordering the Young Living oils, I got a free oil when I made my first order. When I made my first order. So, when I just did that quick overview on abundance, I don't think it gave it enough justice as to why, but I think you understand why I've chosen it for the number 8. Well, actually, I'm not really a big fan of the word understand. It's actually more, I hope you understand, because if you guys don't know about the power of words, when you actually look into words, that etymology, they actually can have more power over words. So, one of the things is when you understand somebody, then you're understanding them. So they're actually over you, and you're under them, energetically speaking. So when you've got an understanding, you know your own self. It's like your own sovereignty kind of scenario. You have an understanding. You don't have to understand anyone. You can be equal. So that's why I just wanted to adjust my language right then. So abundance is one of those oils which is, an influential oil for sure. It's an oil which does speak leadership. It's a knowing itself type of oil. I feel like it almost just, attracted itself in almost, if you know what I'm talking about. If you get what I'm saying. All right. And so the second oil I've chosen for the number 8 is clarity. Now, I really feel like people that have a strong awareness of achievement, that are leaders, that are bosses, that have affluence, that are influencing, they are respected pillars of the community, are recognized by their community. They have a bit of status and prestige and reputation. They have clarity. These people aren't moving forward in their life because they're just winging it. A lot of the time, these people are planned out. They actually know what they're doing. They have a plan. And so these people are like very well spoken. They're very well learned because they know. And some of these people, just so you know, I feel like they have this quality innately, and they have really no barriers, and they have no shame, and they have no need to prove themselves because they just do. So I love the number 8 for that reason. And I really do feel like that comes to mind, a very final oil that comes with clarity in their vision and abundance, which is very powerful. The other oil I've chosen is valor. And valor, for me, is about overcoming difficult situations. It is about courage. It is about, for me, I didn't read clarity then. I think I need to go and read clarity, and then I'll read valor. Valor is like overcoming something internally. And I feel like that goes hand in hand with these people. Like even like, you know, to even uplift the ones that are weighing down, which is the people that are, I feel, that are struggling in things with sex. Like, you know, you have to have a certain amount of courage to overcome any kind of things like sexual addictions and even like the opposite of that. Like, you know, you can see celibacy to be a good thing or a bad thing, and there is really no good or bad on the scale of things, right? So, you know, it's just like it feels like for me that balance thing. Like, you know, they say this, I mean, and it could end up in the bucket of boring, but you know, I mean, the saying goes, everything in moderation. And I don't think that's a bad, like without saying good or bad, but I just did. I think that's actually a really kind of intelligent saying, because you can go far with I mean, I know a lot of people say you achieve big, you play big. So a lot of people that achieve big do party hard. What is that saying? Work hard, party hard. Um, it's like the equal amount of pressure to the equal amount of release. And sometimes there's a lot of um uh unhealthy and toxic ways of doing that. And, you know, people will either, I mean, people will do what they're going to do, right? At the end of the day, I have no interest in controlling. I just want to talk about the numbers. The number 8 does suggest, or it does encompass that awareness of people within their power and their business and finance and achievement and all of those things. And I feel like those people from, you know, and those people will also be a good judge of character on that side, where they're actually, they can be the opposite side of that as well, the you know, the toxic sides, the behaviors which come with that. And, you know, maybe that is expressed with, you know, sexuality. However, also, I don't think that that is necessarily a bad thing either. Like, you know, like I'm just talking about all of these preconceived ideas that could be around sex right now. Like, you know, sex addiction is obviously not ideal. It is kind of a toxic trait. So, you know, we're talking about, like, you know, the fire, somebody who has a strong awareness in power probably also has a strong sexuality, I would suggest, but I don't know. And although that would be a perception that I have. Tell me what your thoughts are. I would love to hear. So valor is like the courage to overcome. And I feel like if somebody is going to overcome themselves in any way that they need to, valor would be an amazing oil. And that represents number 8 to me. So let me read you clarity first, because I don't think I did read you clarity. So abundance, clarity, and valor are my oils for number 8. So let's get to clarity. Clarity says, clarity contains basil, rosemary, and peppermint, essential oils to promote clarity of thought. Use this rich blend to provide emotional balance and a clearer mind. And I feel like people who are business savvy and are high achievers are actually full of clarity and also emotional balance. So that is actually quite a herbal aroma, the clarity. Valor is a really unique aroma, and it says Valor Essential Oil Blend is a top seller and was one of the Young Living founder D. Gary Young's favorite blends. Applied to wrist, chest, base of neck, and bottom to feet to feel empowered and uplifted. So this has in it Northern Lights black spruce, camphor wood oil, blue tansy, frankincense, geranium, and coconut oil. This oil, though, it must be the blue tansy. That's the standout aroma, actually, I do believe, and also the color of the oil. So let me show you. It's very beautiful for also harmonizing. So if you need to feel uplifted again on that scale, then a really beautiful technique that we use, and like I just said in the wrists, we also use it in another whole a technique called the raindrop technique, which is oils that go down the back and they're dropped through your aura. And we use Valor to do a Valor balance first on the feet. And so we can also do a Valor balance. I'm going to show you the color of the oil is blue because it's blue tansy. And look at the color of the lid. And so then what we do is we put our wrists together over that oil and breathe. I can almost feel it instantly harmonizing my body. Like, usually when you can feel your pulse, and I can pretty much feel it now. It is just one of those oils which does create that ability to overcome. It creates the peace that's required to overcome, because, and that's like clarity as well. Clarity is one of those oils which you need to overcome things or to make good decisions, right? And so I really feel like these oils, for me and my oil experience, which is about 8 years in plus, previous to the Young Living, I used to love essential oils, so I always kind of was always looking up and learning about oils. I feel like I'm getting a better awareness of them innately, intuitively as well. So these are my kind of, just so you know, this is not from other information. This is my own intuitively chosen oils that I would match up with these numbers. So that was number 8. Let's do the final oil, which is number 9. And I've actually chosen 4 oils. 4 oils for the number 9. So let me talk to you about what the number 9 is about first. So the number 9 is very much about people who have specific ideas. It can be the 2 different planes of hope and despair. It can be about compassion and forgiveness and grief and wisdom, sacrificial kind of feelings. If you don't know what that means, I can explain a little bit more. If you're naive or dramatic, things coming to an end on the number 9. Things about faith, beliefs. So the people that kind of represent the number 9 are people like humanitarians, anthropos, I can never say that word, but I think you know what I mean. Fundamentalists, anarchists, martyrs, which is kind of similar as the sacrificial understanding, bigots, racists. So there's like, the number 9 can really kind of be kind of one of those, well, I mean, they all really are, but like have that heavy side. The weight of the scale on some of these kind of people's personalities is quite big. So humanitarians are like, you know, they're freedom fighters. Anthropologists, and I just said that correctly, are people who are investigating life. They're like looking for patterns and people in communities and society, and they're kind of observers, you know, like. And then fundamentalists and people that have beliefs are really just like people. I mean, beliefs is one thing, but fundamentalists are like really locked into their belief, I guess. Anarchists are just like, you know, people that I guess want to create or see or cause upheaval. And, you know, there's a few things around anarchists that is interesting for me, because chaos precedes order. And in nature, you know, we often find that there's a lot of chaos in the natural world, and that actually can be quite divine and how it should be. So it's very interesting, right? So how we perceive these things: martyrs, altruism, tolerance, bigots, racists. So, you know, these are all very big on their viewpoints. You know, I guess it, you know, I mean, it's no surprise that there's things like talking about compassion, forgiveness, grief, depression, wisdom. I guess even like the things of sin and savior, like salvation, are quite big on that as well, because that their beliefs, it's about religion as well. It's like there's a lot in the number 9. It's actually a big number, I feel. And also, interestingly, there's a lot of sacred geometry that actually represents a number 9. So, number 9 is also a very special number. Let me just run through the oils that I feel that represent the number 9 based on those things I've just shared with you. So the first and foremost, I actually feel like the first one. Which one will I share with you first? I feel like I'm gonna go with forgiveness. Actually, I was almost gonna go with another oil then, but last minute I chose forgiveness, and I think I've got a cobweb sitting on that because that was sitting on my shelf in my bathroom. Because this is actually an empty oil. I've used it up, but it still smells so good. Young living oils do that. They're amazing for like actually having that really longevity in the aroma. So let me tell you about forgiveness. So I think forgiveness represents forgiveness when we're talking about compassion, forgiveness, grief, wisdom, depression, all of the emotions. Forgiveness is one of those ones. When we're using it, we're actually we're experiencing it. So let me just quickly go over to forgiveness in the catalogue and read it from here. The little brief summary says, forgiveness contains an aroma that supports the ability to forgive yourself and others while letting go of negative emotions, an important part of personal growth. So the ingredients are sesame seed oil, melissa, angelica, bergamot, geranium, lavender, ylang ylang, frankincense, lemon, palm rosa, jasmine, helichrysum, royal Hawaiian sandalwood, Roman chamomile, rose, and coriander. What a freaking amazing blend, right? It's like that's packed with goodness, forgiveness. And if you're a person who, is aware of the power of forgiveness, then you'll probably know about the Ho'oponopono prayer. I actually keep it on my phone. Let me just quickly get it up so I can show you. Let's get back to my main screen. So if you can see that part there, it actually is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Now that prayer there was actually done by, it's a Hawaiian traditional prayer, which is called the Ho'oponopono. And there was a man by the name of Dr. Hugh Lin, and he really took that information and actually put it into practice. So much so that I think he was some level of either counselor or psychologist or some kind of therapist of some sort, or practitioner or counselor, whatever it was that he was in his profession. He actually went into, his story goes that he was called into a award for clinically insane people, and to work with them with obviously their mental health. And what he did was he worked on himself. He took all of their case files. He sat in his office. He did not even see one client. He looked through their case files and he actually did deep reflective work. And in that deep reflective work was, what is it inside me that I'm having this in front of me right now? It's such a profound kind of awareness, because a lot of people will probably reject this idea, but I think there's something very much potently in that. Like if you've ever heard of mirror work, this is that on a deeper level. So like he's like, well, what is that out there that's in me? And I love that. I just think to myself, if you're going to go to that level of intimacy of life, that depth of experience of like looking internally at yourself and taking like radical responsibility for yourself, for the people, or for what's in your environment, because of I guess, the law of attraction, because if it's in you, it's going to show up. It's going to keep coming back. It's a repetitive pattern that we haven't healed in us or cleared that energy in us or around us, those kind of things. And forgiveness is a potent part of healing. And even if you say that Ho'oponopono prayer with probably nothing behind it, even if you just said it out loud with like no emotion, I'm pretty sure it would still be effective. I don't have any evidence or any proof of that, but I actually just really believe that. And I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but there is something very special about that prayer. It's about the pranic energy. It's the energy of life. And Dr. Hewlin, he was very, very close to his practice in that arena. So what actually ended up happening was, when he did the work, whatever that work looked like, the Ho'oponopono prayer or forgiveness, deep forgiveness of himself and others, those people actually ended up all leaving this asylum, and he was the only one left there. Even all of the staff had gone. It was basically an empty place by the time he walked out. He did not even see one patient because he worked on himself. That is, like I said, the epitome of radical responsibility, healing work, forgiveness, and all of the things I think represent 9. Definitely. Woo! I love that. The other oil I've chosen, which I was going to share before I shared forgiveness, but I'm not going to share it until last now, is actually gratitude. So gratitude for me is definitely around beliefs. And I'm going to read that out of the book in a second. I just read forgiveness. Gratitude is something that can lift us up out of like things like depression and appreciation for the things that we actually already just do have, the contentment of life. I feel like that is like a deep, complex emotion. It's about wisdom. It's very much about overcoming things like I guess fundamentalism, anarchy, being gullible, being naive. Like, if you're gratitude, you're very refined in what you know. Your awareness is fine-tuned, because gratitude can be for like some of the most simplified things that we have on a day-to-day basis, like sleep, like going to the toilet, like drinking, like having teeth, like being able to walk, wiggle our toes. They're the simplistic things that to be grateful for, that I really do believe that when we get into a place of gratitude, we can overcome all of those other things, the tolerance, the bigots, the racism, the, even wanting to escape, despair. Gratitude brings us to a place of presence and awareness that can actually help us overcome any obstacle, I feel. Gratitude is also a highly potent experience, and I think that oil will match that energy. So let me just quickly go to my gratitude in here, because I've already read forgiveness. Gratitude. Foster a grateful attitude. Embrace the blessings in your life. The uplifting aroma of gratitude invites feelings of emotional and spiritual progress. So, I definitely feel like there's something about progress in there. Even as a humanitarian, as a society, as yeah, I think gratitude is definitely a number 9 oil. Also feels complete. So, it can be about completions or endings as well, but I definitely feel like gratitude brings us to completion. If you do gratitude first thing in the morning and last thing at night, I really feel like you'll feel good about your day. It'll be a start and a finish, or a finish strong, like I feel good about my day because I've started the day with gratitude, and I've ended it with gratitude as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next oil, which is actually an oil that you can't buy with Young Living. This is an oil only for people who are especially on essential rewards orders that order every single month and every year after a certain amount of years. So like I think it's the first 2 years you get particular gift orders at 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. And then after that, I think every year after those 3, 6, 9, and 12 months of ordering every single month a minimum order of 100 PV is a free gift. And generally speaking, and it has been for quite some time now, is this oil loyalty. And it won't be in that product guide. This is like a cinnamony, it's a very spicy type of oil. Let me see. I'll read the oils that are in it. And loyalty is obviously because we're showing up, right? Showing up for ourselves, showing up for the essential oil experience. So the ingredients are angelica and lang lang and lavender and Idaho blue spruce and cassia. That's the smell that I can smell. Vetiver, I can smell vetiver. Sandalwood, geranium, sacred frankincense, patchouli, cardamom, mastrante, peppermint, melissa, and rose. So loyalty, I think I remember reading another oil that was similar to that recently, and I think it might have been transformation. That could be a close second to loyalty. So they can always cross over, you know. You can choose your own number oils if you like. You don't have to go with mine. These are just my thoughts on what the numbers represent and what oils match up to that. So loyalty for me is uplifting for the reason that, you know, when you're loyal to yourself, it's a form of self-love. When you're loyal to like your belief, that does represent all of those things, whether they're good or bad, and whether we choose to believe they're good or bad, you know, or not. It represents the ability, I feel like, to overcome things like escapism and depression. When we're loyal, I really do feel like we have like a very big sense of it's on the tip of my tongue and the tip of my nose. What is it? I'm trying to think. Loyalty is it's like it brings us um to represent ourselves and others. Loyalty is a representation, absolutely. So you can represent your brotherhood, you can represent your humanitarian, you can represent your belief. Loyalty is a good number 9 oil for sure. Also, you know, for example, like, which is kind of annoying, the whole martyrdom and sacrificial kind of belief thing where, you know, there's something about that that's loyal to. It's like loyal to know that, you know, I'm going to show up in even sometimes a toxic way. So, you know, loyalty can go both ways, but this is to try and uplift those balancing scales into places of, you know, great wisdom and like, you know, the ways that we can support humanitarian stuff instead of, you know, weighing down about it, you know. So that brings me to my final oil for number 9, which is called Immune Power. This oil, this also has a medicinal one, and I can open that. Oh, I think this has got hyssop on it. Very, very strong hyssop. It's been a long time since I've actually used Immune Power. I actually really like that oil too. It's been a while. I need to get that in my order again. Once again, this is like an old empty bottle that I pulled off my shelf. And I have a whole shelf of all the oils that are empty. And whenever one of my current oils empties, I replace it, and then I can clean these bottles out and make little blends of my own. I'll use them in workshops. So this smells amazing still. Immune Power let's talk about you. Immune power. I don't think loyalty is in here, but I would like to check. Oh, here we go. Immune power. Immune power is a powerful blend of essential oils with an aroma that creates a fragrant and protective haven whilst encouraging positive energy. It does have its first ingredient is hyssop, mountain savory, cistus. Oh, I love cistus as well. Ravensara, frankincense, oregano, clove, cumin, and dorado azul. Oh my word. Immune power is a potent blend. It is such a good blend. Like, wow, frankincense, hyssop, cistus, they're all sacred oils, my friends. Kind of like, yeah, I love it. The reason why I chose that for number 9 is because I feel like people that have got grief and are dealing with things like forgiveness and want to have self-compassion and maybe going through addictions or depression or they're going through some really big struggle time. And even like the people like that are the anarchists, that's a lot of use of like things like, energy, which is going to take a toll on the body at some point. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like immune power is like an aroma that can actually like give you that support through those feelings. Immune power is just like yeah, an oil which can probably overcome some of those big emotions if used like on a proper like protocol, like in conjunction with other amazing nutritional and mental health support. Like it's not just one thing that works, it's like a collective energy that works, a collective of things. And I really feel like this could be one of those things in the team that can support. So let me just quickly go back over that. So it's forgiveness, gratitude, loyalty, and immune power that I feel like represent number 9, the energy of number 9 in an amazing way, and to help bring that back, the scales of balance back into place. And you know, just be in a place of, yeah, I just want to say harmony, energetic harmony, balance, harmony. Those are the things that does not everybody. Equilibrium is probably even another better word than harmony. Equilibrium, like it's like bringing the body back into balance. It's a mind, body, soul work that is like very holistic. So yeah, so number 9 brings us to the end. Number 9 is the completion of our oils, which is the number itself's meaning. So I'm so grateful. Again, gratitude in number 9. That is that not the way? Like if we just end with gratitude, right? I'm so grateful that you guys have stuck with me through these amazing parts of going through a full numerology holdover of what these numbers mean, what they can like, can you identify with any of these numbers? If so, let me know in the comments. What is it? What is your number? Which do you identify the most with? Do you even know what your numerology numbers are? If so, do they make sense to you? Would those oils sound like something that you'd like to use in conjunction with who you are according to that numerology? If that's the case, I would love for you to click on one of the links in the description below and join me in this amazing oily journey and get started. Do something with these beautiful oils in your life. You'll probably absolutely find some amazing experience to enjoy from them. I have absolutely no doubt about that, just to be frank. But I mean, I haven't been using essential oils for 8 years for no reason. On a regular basis, every single month, have made a monthly oil order for about 8, probably 9 years now. So I'm here for you. If you need any assistance, support, guidance, let me know. Send me a contact through my website, enlightenedwithessentialoils.com, or find my email on my website and just send me an email. and let's chat. Let's organize a one-on-one conversation. I can organize a Zoom link, and we can chat. And if you need any assistance, that's what I'm here for. If you'd like to talk more about these things, like the way that they're corresponding, or if you think that any of the other oils might match up with the numbers that you've listened to and you've heard, then let me know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So with that, I'm going to close, and I just hope that you enjoyed this enough to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And if you feel like this resonates and you might like to share it, you can always click on the share button too. So for now, I will be super grateful and talk to you again soon. Bye for now.